Okay, so looking at the second unit and what is needed here, this is a graded unit. It is an academic subject in sociology. We're moving on to the topic of poverty and health. The credit value for this is 3. It is an entire unit in one place. It does not have several assignments. It has different tasks. Just to run through here to make sure we understand. So this first section, the learning outcome is recognize competing definitions of poverty. I've highlighted here the command words to emphasize the need to meet each of these unit assessment criteria, the UACs. 1.1, it says provide a definition of poverty. What we're looking at here is to compare a simple definition of relative and absolute poverty. We will look into this as your first task. These 3 parts, I know it says detailed here, I've allocated 500 words to, so bear that in mind in terms of the detail we are going to go through these. 1.2, analyze, that is to break down into smaller parts, to go into detail, the competing solutions to poverty with particular reference to the role of social policy. As we will see when we get to the task, I'm asking you to do a timeline. And in that timeline, I will expect 3, if you like, time arrows. One saying that the social condition at the time or giving a time reference, and the other talking about when these various theories arrive. What we're looking at here is, if you like, the liberal tradition which goes up to Margaret Thatcher. Again, if you don't understand that now, this is what we're going into. So neoliberalism, the market, etc., compared to social democratic. This is analyze competing solution. 1.2, the next 1.3 is evaluate, explanations for the existence and persistence of poverty. So the difference here is analyze is looking break down, going into detail, evaluate is the compare and contrast. Here, again, we're looking at the same combinations, because those that say the solutions to poverty are all very much linked to the explanations why it exists and persists. In this case, we're going to look at social democratic explanations for the existence of poverty compared to neoliberal, liberal, classic liberal, Adam Smith, Margaret Thatcher, new right explanations for the existence and persistence of poverty. So the key thing here is provide, so it's a statement, it's a description, analyze, break down, go into detail, evaluate, compare and contrast. Understand the link between poverty and health. Okay, so here, this is going to be your essay task, and this is going to have the 1,000 words allocated to it for you to write this. So this is quite a lot of detail. Outline and evaluate. So in other words, it's not only evaluate, it's describe, it's going to detail and then evaluate the evidence of variations in health and illness, e.g. by class, gender, age, ethnicity and religion. You have to take most of those, but they are examples rather than obligatory to go in each case. And what we're talking about here is social class has, your social class of origin or your social class or your occupation has a fundamentally large impact on your amount of illness during your lifetime and your life expectancy. Gender, age, ethnicity, we will look at in detail, and each of those shows wide variations in health and illness according to which of those social groups you belong. So obviously that's important. That will be the essay. Record sources of information, referencing This suggests if you're asked to reference, it means you should be doing most of the research yourself. So please, if you are going to use my class notes, do so by referring back, going back to the originals. I will show you where, and I will reference the material that I will be delivering to you. So go back and find that and reference it from the original source if needs be. But even better than that, do your own research, find your own things. It says, make reference to sociological research studies. We will be looking at various studies evidencing this. You need to use studies, particularly in your essay. You're not going to have the space to do that in the timeline exercise, but you need to refer to sociological studies and have obviously referenced those sociological studies. Just going through to look at grade descriptors. Grade descriptor 1 is understanding of the subject. Here, good understanding of the ones. So those defining poverty, competing solutions to poverty, and explanations for existence and persistence. This is what goes on your timeline. So this grade descriptor refers to what goes on your timeline. Grade descriptor 2 is use of information. So this is good analysis of the competing solutions, good evaluation of evidence for health and illness. So what we're saying here is tasks 1 and 2, both tasks need to be demonstrated are good. We've got the phrase here, relevant ideas, breadth and depth, or breadth and depth, if you're difference between merit and distinction, good levels of consistency, insight and analysis. 4, use of information. We're looking for evidence of good evaluation and analysis of studies. We did a little bit of this on study skills, dare I say, but what we're talking about is not using studies as information, but simply as information, but to be critical in their usage, to understand what questions you should ask of sources as you go through. Again, this is for the essay task entirely because it's a level of detail. 5, grade descriptor 5, there isn't a 6. We're looking for command of format, structure and language, syntax, register, spelling. So in other words, essay writing technique. So a very good understanding of the structure of academic essay demonstrated. Don't worry, we will be looking at this in class, and I'll be doing some work on academic writing and academic essay writing. Likewise, excellent for the structure would be for a distinction. And lastly, 7, so 5 referred only to the essay writing task, it's worth saying, and 7 refers to both, but it's the finished product element. This is about meeting the requirements of the question in full and finishing it. That means proofreading, editing, evidence of time spent, if you like, on it. And that would refer to both tasks there. Okay, so the two tasks are perspectives on poverty, timeline, essay, analyse and evaluate the possible relationship between poverty and health. Now, obviously, we're going to go into these in more detail, but that is a summary of what we're looking to do. So once you've done this, can you do the recap exercise after this, please?